So let's talk about Despicable Me 3 because why not? Um, this movie, like the other ones, to me was just plain okay. The first film didn't was more of a ripoff of Megamind and Toy Story with the aliens and the minions and how they're so similar. And that movie didn't do much for me in the creative department, but I thought it was a funny, kind of endearing movie. It was a little endearing, even though it was a story that was literally done very close to that movie's release with Megamind, and how it just was a sweet movie, the first one. And then the second one I thought was just actually really funny, but again, it wasn't a creative movie. And then Minions, I thought as a movie, it didn't have a plot besides the fact that Sandra Bullock was like the villain. I don't remember anything about the movie besides that, and the Minions were created at the beginning of time and went along through generations of time and to present day, and it shows that. And Minions fucked around for an hour and a half. That's all I remember about that movie. So I didn't really like that one much because the Minions I feel like are better in smaller doses, like the first two and this one. But Despicable Me 3, um, to me, it's just fine, like the other ones. It's not horrible, but it's not good as a movie. Like, it's not anything groundbreaking or anything that will challenge your children. It's not a Pixar movie, a good Pixar movie. Um, it's not on that level. It's just with Illumination, I've noticed that they always do this with their films in which they copy off of better movies and they don't make the movies better that they make. They don't even try, I don't think, that much. Like, they don't try to challenge you, they just give you a dumb, fun movie. And the first one, like I said, is a little endearing, so I guess that makes it the better one out of all of them. But I'd say they're all pretty close to me as very similar movies that are not great but are very that are funny. They're funny movies, but they're not creative. And I felt that way with this one. This one was just pretty much the same thing, but you have Gru, who apparently had a twin brother and has never been mentioned in any of the movies, and you realize that he was taken away as a child. And this has been done a lot of times in these kind of movies, and it didn't bother me per se, but it was just kind of like, really, you just are going with this now. This is the plot. But to be fair, the other ones didn't have a plot that was creative either. It was just basically ripping off of other movies, like Illumination always does. And to me, out of all the Illumination films, the Despicable Me ones I think are way more better than Secret Life of Pets or Sing. I really did not like those movies. I thought they were so uncreative and so uninteresting. And to be fair, these movies are not either the Despicable Me films, but I feel like these are more entertaining even though they're dumb. They're just dumb, fun, entertaining films. And this one, the third one, I thought was fine with the using the brother angle, even though it's been done a billion times in these kind of movies. And the characters they're like all in this, but it's a mishmash of everybody doing something, but it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like a plot to a TV show or short films. And it's just funny how they went along with this one not being that much of a plot. It really isn't. It's like at the beginning of the movie you have the villain who Trey Parker plays, this 80s style kid, or guy who was a kid in the 80s from a television show that was famous. And he's got all these abilities that he can do, like make bubblegum grow ginormously. You can use stuff like that with all the 80s stuff he has. And then you have him in the beginning of the movie, which the first trailer was just that. And that's literally the whole first trailer of this movie was just the beginning of this movie. And it's so weird because the villain is in it at the beginning, and then he's a little bit shown throughout, like a couple little scenes, and then in the end it's the fight with him. But it really feels so disconnected with Gru and Lucy and the kids and Drew and how their story is going on. And then you got the Minions, who two of them are left with Gru and Lucy and all of them. but then all the other minions right through halfway through the movie get arrested and go to prison and then escape prison. So it doesn't last long, but like it's so funny how these all these plots are not really connected to each other, and they really are pointless plots. And I know this is a kids movie, but I feel like you could be more creative with that. And you've got subplots with all the kids, and you've got the brother angle with both Gru and Drew, and then Lucy wanting to be more of a mom. And it's so weird that all these are mishmashed together and don't really make a plot. They really don't. It's a lot of characters just having fun, which I'm fine with too. It's just it doesn't piss me off because I understand that these movies were not going to be creative or be that kind of interesting. But I thought that the characters were sweet, I guess, but they weren't anything amazing. And it's funny how we had the Minions movie, which was just the Minions, and then we get this movie, which the Minions are separate in a plot where they, like I said, they get thrown into jail, and then you keep cutting back to them during the jail scenes or even before that, the whole movie where they are just you randomly show them doing random stuff, and sometimes they were really funny. I did laugh at these characters because they're just dumb, doofy little yellow things, and it's funny because they're just dumb, and it just I don't know, it made me laugh for some reason, but yeah, that subplot is weird because it's kind of disconnected to that, and it feels like a Minion short in this movie because they don't have the Minions really with Gru and all of them except for two of them. So I feel like they tried to creatively put a Minion in every scene because the Minions are so popular, and it's weird that how they did it, and like I said, the movie just as a movie it wasn't good. It just didn't have a good plot. The plot was all over the place. It didn't do anything that made the story by the end feel earned because the villain is in the beginning, then at the end with a couple interspersed scenes of him on his own. But it's not like it really built up to it. It just shows him doing random stuff, random 80s stuff, because that's his stick, that he does a lot of stuff from the 80s since he was a kid in the 80s. But I don't know, like to me, like I said, the story isn't great, but I thought the characters were still endearing enough for me, and just it was just a sweet movie with these characters. And even though it's dumb and not a movie that's great, I thought it was fine for just being that kind of movie, a dumb, fun time for kids. And I know kids will enjoy this because when you're a kid, you don't always have to watch something challenging. That's not what kids are looking for. Kids are looking to have fun and have a childhood, have fun watching something. So I feel like this one is fine for kids, and I didn't hate it either as an adult. I think that it was perfectly fine. It's just not a creative movie in it at all. But it has fun, likable characters, and it was just a silly, funny movie. And I did laugh a lot, but there were a couple times I didn't laugh either. So overall, I think that Despicable Me 3 is I'm just mixed on it. I like the other ones where it's just like they're not creative, but they're sweet and endearing. And honestly, I thought this one was just as fine as the other ones in terms of that, just being a sweet, endearing movie that's dumb for kids. So yeah, overall, it's just okay. It's not something that I love, not something I despise either. It's just dead in the middle of that. Just really just plain okay. So yeah, it was an alright movie. It didn't do much, but it was fine. It didn't make me mad. but overall, yeah, just okay. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.